Good morning, guys. Happy Saturday. I finished all of my home to-do list. I've walked the dogs out. I've gotten ready. I put away the dishes. I ate breakfast, and now I'm drinking my favorite coffee. This is Lavazza. I wish I could do like something that has like less plastics. I'm only using the pods right now, and I have a Keurig. So I will try to switch over to non-toxic or anything that has like less plastics, just because I am becoming more and more conscious about my health. And I think there's a word for it. I think it's hypochondriac, when you have a fear of getting sick, fear of getting ill or diseases. So I'm gonna try to do that, but this is the New York mug that I was talking about in my last episode. It's so lovely. It says New York City with a taxi, yellow taxi, printed on it, and then like the buildings in the background, like as a silhouette, and then like racetracks at the top and like the brims of the cup. And it's just so pretty. Like every time I drink out of this mug, it feels like I'm in New York. It feels like I'm a city girl, and especially when you're drinking warm, fresh coffee out of it, it's just so lovely. It sets the mood for the rest of the day, and it just makes me feel so productive, and that's just like the first step of my morning. So I love this, but I'm actually going to New York in a couple of weeks with my friends, and I'm really excited because I have been, at least for the past year and a half, I've been very interested in New York as like a potential city for me to move to. And the main reason for that is because I started watching Sex and the City. So after I graduated from college, I actually graduated myself from watching Gilmore Girls, even though it's still one of my top number one shows. I just wanted to watch something that's a little bit different in terms of like the feeling that I get, something more mature, something more realistic, something about deeper emotions and authentic raw emotions. And Sex and the City is a very popular show, and I don't know what made me even click on the first episode to watch it on Netflix, but I just started watching it and I fell in love with it ever since. Like, I think in the beginning it was a little bit hard to watch just because I wasn't in that phase of my life where I wanted to be, I guess, build confidence, like think about romance or think about career and stuff like that. But when I got out of college and I came back to my hometown, it was something that I needed to watch in order for me to feel motivated again to start building up my life. Because at that point, everybody gets the post college depression, post university depression, and it is very real. So I think that was one of the things that I did to help me get out of that rut of feeling like there's no direction in my life. So it definitely helped. And the more I got into the show, the more I started to, I guess, glamorize the lifestyle in New York. And I've been wanting to go. I was supposed to go last December, but it got pushed. And now, actually, randomly, all of my friends they were just like, let's go to New York this fall. And so we organized the trip, we bought our tickets, and we're going. And so as you can see, I also got a new haircut. I don't know what to do with this haircut yet. It's very the reason why I got like layers and also like V-cut is because that's, I think, what suits my face the most. But being low maintenance, I just don't know how to style. I have no styling tools at all. I don't even have a blow dryer. I just air dry my hair after after the shower, and I put on castor oil before I go to work or before I leave the house, and that usually helps maintain my crazy bed hair. And that's been more than enough for me in my 20 years of living. So, yeah, but I got this haircut because I thought it would make me look put together a little bit more than just a straight like cut rectangular cut, which I've always had since I was a young kid. But I don't know. I think you're supposed to do more to get the most out of this haircut, but I just don't have the tools for it, or I don't have the motivation. I don't have the time. I don't have the will to style my hair. It's usually just in a ponytail, in a bun, in a claw clip, and that's it. But let's see what I can do magically with this hair when I go. I'm also planning on getting some red nails because it's New York in November and I just want to romanticize the entire trip. And I think red nails is just, like, a very feminine symbol of like you entering your womanhood. At least that's how I perceive it. And this entire time, from like as a young kid to like high school, I never put on nail polish ever. And then when I got to college, I started using like white, I don't even know why I use white, but I started using white nail polish. And so I got sick of that color. And then after I graduated, I started using pink nails, and it's a little bit more subtle. You can't really see it, but it's there, and there's some glow. But I think that getting red nails is definitely like a symbol of like entering into a new chapter, a new era. So I do want to get red nails. I'm still deciding whether I want to do nail or gel nail or press-ons. A lot of my friends just do press-on because it's just less of a hassle. It's easier. You don't have to deal with the aftermath of like when your nails grow out of the polish, and it's a lot cheaper. But I, like, a side of me or a part of me wants to like pamper myself and get real gel nails to like really get into the mood of the fall season in New York. But we'll see. I have to schedule an appointment, and I don't really know any places here in San Diego. So we'll try to figure it out. If not, I'll be using press-on nails with my friends. But yeah. Oh, I talked about New York for a while. But I did want to come on here. Actually, come on, let's talk about New York a little bit more. I have been romanticizing about New York for the longest time, actually. No, not the longest time. I'm lying. I started watching Sex and the City when I got out of college because I just felt like I needed some kind of direction. I needed a new inspiration in my life to get my stuff together. And Gilmore Girls is such a comfort, cozy show for me that it makes me complacent. And as much as I love the show, I feel like I needed a change of pace. And so I started watching Sex and the City. And that whole show is just about building confidence, chasing after your career, prioritizing your career, and having fun with romance. And I've never really lived my life like that. But I think a little bit in college I did. And I don't know, I just started romanticizing about the fact that there's a whole new environment that I could put myself in and become a different version of myself. And I think that's very powerful. And that really is very appealing to me as someone who has been working since they got out of college and is feeling a little bit burnt out, to be honest. And I just think sometimes we all just need like a change of environment, and traveling is that for me. And it's very real, actually, when they say like when you're working full time, the only thing, or corporate America, the only thing that you really look forward to are your time offs or traveling. And as true as it is very sad because it feels like you're just this robot working for this big corporate, and like it feels like you have no control over your life. So yeah, and I also have been following this advice that I heard from Mel Robbins, which is a very, very influential person right now, amidst like our generation. I think I really like what she says about traveling in your 20s and trying different cities to see where it is that you most feel belonged and where you can grow the most, like have the most exponential growth in your life, your mindset, your lifestyle, and stuff like that. And that's what I tried to do 2025 this year. It is my travel year, so I'm not done yet. I might push a little bit more, squeeze in a little bit more trips, but we'll see. And I just really like what she says because I think it is true that your 20s is the only time, the only decade in your life where you get to make as many mistakes as you can and not still feel as responsible for the consequences just because you have some leeway. You're still in your 20s, people kind of brush it off a little bit, but once you hit like late 20s or 30s, early 30s, that's when it starts to feel really real. And traveling in your 20s is just like such it just fits very nicely because you're never going to have this youth, this much strength and energy to travel and go through, sleep in the airports, wake up early and walk a lot and stuff like that. And I know a couple of people who have done who sees it completely different, and instead of traveling now, they are working on building their career so that they can have the finances, the funds to travel later down. And there's nothing wrong with that. I completely understand where they're coming from, but for me, maybe it's just because of my circumstance and like my financial standing. I don't really want to wait until I'm 30s to go travel the world. I would rather experience life where like in this time period where I'm actually developing as a person. And the reason for that is because as I am developing and as I am traveling as well, I feel like I can get the most out of the experience. I can get the most lessons in life, because I feel like once like you get out of this phase of your mind developing, your brain developing, I think that you're pretty much set in your own ways and you know yourself so deeply. And I know like people will say, I've heard like my hairdresser actually mentioned that after 30s your mind is still developing, and not only your mind, your personality is also developing. And so I do think that when you push off traveling, when you deprive yourself of so many joys in life, I think that there are some, I guess you're losing some benefits out of it just because the experiences that you'll get in your 20s, it's something that you can't get back. So even if you wait longer and you focus on your career, yes, you have all the money to travel, but at the cost of youth, I would say. And so I never really saw myself as someone who will be doing that. And I mean, maybe because I'm an Aquarius, I like to follow my own feelings. I like to follow I'm very impulsive, and I think it's had negative and positive effects in my life. But more than anything, I would say I've grown a lot just by being impulsive and learning from my own mistakes. And those are lessons that I can't get anywhere else. I can't get that from from locking myself in and like, pursuing a career long term and then being able to travel later on. Like I won't be able to have that significant lesson in life because it's like I missed it. I'm already, as I'm growing and as my personality is developing, if I'm in only one place doing the one thing for like the same thing for all 6 years after I graduate, like I will probably won't have as many life experiences as I want for myself. And so I have made certain decisions in my life that put me back compared to like what other people in my environment are doing. And sometimes I do get into my head a little bit and start to think that maybe I should have prioritized my career first like versus living in the present and going after the things that I want, such as traveling and making memories with my friends. But I just followed how I feel, and I think that's just intrinsically what I want to do as a person, not because I'm choosing to not prioritize. It's just like the way that my brain perceives life and my own values in life. And I think it would be very fun to have these conversations again as like in your late 30s maybe or early 40s with these people that you grew up with and have walked the same timeline as you, and really not compare, but like just discuss the differences and what are the things that you maybe would have changed now. And I think I'm really looking forward to that kind of conversations with my friends. But yeah, that's just like a little, I guess, a little um reflection on like 20s and traveling. And yeah, and I'm really excited to see New York. I think I have a couple of more things to do before I travel, before the flight. I have to pick up a couple of like winter shoes because I don't really have any, and I might get a couple of like sweaters because I don't have any. I think the lowest is going to be 30s and then highest is 50s. And there's gonna be some rain, so I definitely need to prep myself because the last thing I want to do when I'm traveling is having to stay in my hotel room most of the time because it's too cold and I'm not, equipped and stuff like that. I'd just be wasting my flight ticket and everything else. So definitely want to go in prepared, but I'm very still conscious of what I will be purchasing because, as I mentioned in the last video, I'm trying to buy more natural fabrics, or fibers. I actually need to search it up, but I want more organic clothing, such as like linen, wool, cotton, and other things. But I did recently hear this one video, or I saw this one video where it's like, if you're vegan, or most vegans usually only buy cotton because everything else that's natural fiber fabrics, they are animal derived. And so I think I do want to stick with cotton more, just because I know like cashmere and like wool, they have their own benefits and they have their own positive like qualities about them, but I always try to stay as organic as I can. Even with my food, like this entire week I successfully ate plant-based meals, and actually there was like, I noticed that the more as I was eating, as I was controlling my lunch, I started craving more and more junk food, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'm trying my best to eat as healthy as I can, but I think there's always like trade-offs. So we'll see. This time around, I guess this weekend I'm gonna be grocery shopping, so I'll go to farmers market later on, and I will probably pick up, the same ingredients that I've had. It's like mushrooms, sausage, like plant-based sausage, and then rice, and like some sort of like tangy, like sweet sauce to mix it all, and tofu as well. And then I put it on like in the fried rice style, and maybe I'll pick up some like plant-based snacks because that's what I've been, I guess, I'm craving like something sweet every time I eat like a plant-based lunch, and I guess that's what I'm like doing wrong. I'm depriving myself of the sugars that I usually eat or have been consuming this entire time, and I think my body just needs that because that's what it's used to. So I'm gonna try to find some healthier alternatives. I've been eating apples for dinner, so that's good. Not that I'm like trying to be on a diet, but I'm actually, it just fits my schedule well. Like after I work 10-hour shifts, so towards the end of that shift I usually just eat like a banana and an apple, and that usually fills me up for the night. And so when I get home, I just shower, I go to bed, and I do the same thing, wake up, go to work. And in the morning I've been eating oatmeals, like the Trader Joe's ones with like quinoa and stuff like that, and it's really, really yummy. I fell in love again with oatmeals. My dad actually introduced it to us when we were younger kids, and I was obsessed. Like I hyperfixated on oatmeals when I was a little kid, and there was a certain way that I did it before, but now I can't really do it. It's like with like powder milk. I was obsessed with milk growing up. So yeah, that's like the plant-based, the changes that I've been implementing in my meals this past week, which I think is a good start. Right now, like the only thing I could work on is just implementing more like healthier dessert alternatives rather than chocolates. And yeah. Anyway, I didn't expect to be talking about New York so much, or like my new menu diet, plant-based diet, but I do want to make a separate video right now about some of the things that I've been thinking about when it comes to like productivity and success and stuff like that. So stay tuned for that. But anyway, I'll end this video right now, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.